Gumball is known for a lot of things, but one thing that really makes it stand out is its animation. From 2D to 3D, puppets, and even anime. Today, we're gonna take a look at all of the different animation styles Gumball has ever used. But first, we need to talk about the show's original animation style, starting all the way back on May 9th, 2008, in the pilot, where it didn't shy off from using different animation styles. You had Gumball, who is 2D, Darwin, who was 3D, and other characters like Tina and Rocky, who were CGI, all mixed together and tied perfectly into a real-world setting, based on real buildings, like Elmore Junior High, Elmore Mall, and even the Wattersons house are based off of real buildings with some slight changes. One by one, each piece is put together. Photos, models, lighting, textures, all carefully layered to build what we know as the world of Gumball. The way they fit 2D in 3D is so impressive. I've always loved the realistic backgrounds. They were so fun to just see the animated characters run around them. From season 1 to 3, we see subtle changes to the main characters, like Darwin, who we saw before as 3D, had now turns 2D, and Gumball, who originally had oval pupils and thinner outlines, now had a cleaner and more consistent design with his round pupils and bolder lines, with Anais, Nicole, and Richard all following suit, shifting from slightly more detailed or uneven features to a smoother, more polished style that made the Wattersons feel more consistent in their designs. But that's not even the best part, as we start moving into different animation styles, some that completely change how you view Gumball, starting off with 2D, except this isn't your usual 2D animation. In the episode The Kids, Gumball and Darwin accidentally roast their own parents, calling them old. She then leaves, warning them, saying that no one stays young forever. At first, they don't take it seriously, as they have been 12 for like ever. But then, out of nowhere, their voices break and affect their every move. From getting kicked out of the bus, kicked out of the store, and my boy Gumball couldn't even speak to Penny.
Fitzgerald residence.
Hey, can I speak to Penny, please?
Is this a joke?
No.
This better be a joke.
So the boys head to the doctor, who tells them the truth. They're just growing up. So they decide to go into a full song about the benefits of being young.
We enjoy it while we can. We enjoy it while we're kids. We enjoy it while there's still time to make the most of it. We go around the block and we loiter by the mall. The people think we're thugs, so they give the cops a call. Police get away with it cause it's a public space. Turns out we were loitering, just standing in one place.
But in the mix, we get a more vibrant and stylized use of the 2D animation that was brighter, bouncier, and that captured the fun energy of their imagination. To pull this off, the Cartoon Network team teamed up with the studio CRCR, best known for working with Fortnite and Riot. But this wouldn't be the last time we see this type of animation. In the drama, when Gumball takes Darwin to confront Carrie and her ex, the animation shifts again to a beautiful color palette of bright colors and fast-paced animation, like something you would see in the Spider-Verse, with help from Jonathan Dobb, as a farewell gift to the show. And he went all in. It's a perfect example of how Gumball's animation shifts aren't just for the show, but a way for artists to go wild and bring their own style onto the screen. But there are still so many more from where that came from. We'll see how Gumball uses these different animation styles to tell even crazier stories. And that's no different from the next episode, The Lie. In this episode, Gumball makes up a fake holiday called Sluzzletag to cheer everyone up after Christmas through the January Depression, and the whole town goes all in on it. But later that night, Anais reminds him that it's all fake, and Gumball freaks out, realizing everyone's expecting a toilet Santa to show up with their gifts. He imagines how they'll react if they find out the truth.
It'll be like...
But Anais has a more real outcome.
I think you're being overdramatic. It'll be more like...
Even though it's only for a few seconds, what a better way to show Gumball getting completely squished than turning into him in a literal clay version of himself. It's the only time real Claymation shows up, but we do have Clayton, who looks and moves like clay, but is actually CGI, but he still gives off the vibes of classic stop motion, showing how Gumball can nail the feel of different animation styles without actually using them. Except that wouldn't be the only animation style switch that we see in this episode. When Gumball Gumball introduces the idea of sluzzle tag. Darwin suddenly appears in old school animation, something that most of us were too young to experience firsthand, but it's clearly a nod to the golden age of animation. It's a total throwback to early cartoons like Tom and Jerry or the Looney Tunes. But next, we go into something completely different, a full-on comic-style book episode. In the episode The Comet, everyone at school is glazing Gumball, which he finds out is for Laserheart, a secret superhero made up from none other than Sarah. Of course, Gumball completely falls in love with it, as well as Darwin, who is called the Smooch. They go around acting like heroes and stuff, with nothing going well for them. After they face real danger and realize how they are not heroes, Sarah draws them as if they are heroes in a full-on comic book type style. And we've seen fights in Gumball before, but the little details, the over-the-top moves, and the superhero references like Superman and Batman, it all shows how changing animation styles can totally change how a story is told, or a better lesson to be learned. But what if Gumball took it even further? Not just diving into Gumball or Darwin's imagination, but going absolutely crazy for one insane episode. Well, in the episode The Fury, we see exactly that. Nicole's past catches up with her when her old friend Yuki Yoshida returns to town, demanding a rematch. But Nicole refuses. The kids are confused about why Nicole backed down from the challenge, wondering if it was fear or something else. Because we all know Nicole, and she isn't usually the one to back down from a fight. And when Nicole picks them up, the car is all beaten up with the words coward on the car, with the culprit obviously being Yuki, who keeps messing with her by flirting with Richard, annoying her in her job, and going everywhere she goes to remind her that she's a coward. But despite that, Nicole won't fight back. And in an awesome manga-style backstory, we learn that Nicole and Yuki were once actually best friends. But after Nicole beat her in a martial arts tournament, Nicole had to let it all go. All the while, Yuki has been training for this very moment. And when Yuki threatens her house and job, Nicole has no other choice but to fight her. So in full anime style, Nicole and Yuki go all in on an epic battle. But when their kids finally get caught in the mess, they stop fighting them and team up to save them. Just reading the comments here, and found out that my favorite animation studio, Studio 4C, worked on the episode, and I'm at a loss for words. The huge middle school weeb in me has taken over. Worth the wait. Gumball needs more awesome guest animators. In order to do such a big thing, they got help from Studio 4C, the studio behind standout films like Mind Games, which from the comments, you can tell people definitely love it. Beyond this episode, we still got a bunch of anime references in the show, from Dragon Ball Z to Sailor Moon, and a lot more. It's obvious that Gumball has a lot of real love for anime, and can tell a great story while using it. And while we're getting a bunch of references to popular anime, next we got a complete episode about the internet, that not only gives us some cool animation, but it also perfectly shows us how crazy we are in the internet. Yeah, not you, but we. In the episode The Code, Gumball and Darwin are trying to watch a cat video, but the Wi-Fi's down. Turns out that the Wattersons have been stealing the Robinsons' Wi-Fi for years.
Kids, there's something I have to tell you.
You're not my father?
How did you guess? No, we've just been using Robinson's Wi-Fi for years.
Because they can't get their own. Like, they have such bad credit that they've been using a coin-based fridge. Just imagine that for a second. So the kids recreate the internet, from cardboard streaming to fake reviews, and acting like they're in Elmore Plus in real life. Tired of their own version of the internet, they beg for money or do what they call crowdfund to get their own internet. But Anais tells them to just hack the Robinsons. So Gumball and Darwin launch into a full cyberspace, breaking firewalls, hiding from antivirus software, and trying to get cookies accepted, which turns out to just be in their heads. And this is what really was happening.
How do you do, good sir?
The antivirus!
Although it was all in their heads, we get a cool look into them diving into the cyberspace. The switch to computer graphics made the digital world feel real, with 3D models, pixelated environments, which pulled them deeper into the virtual realm. And we also got references to real-life tech, like incognito mode, firewalls, and antivirus software. While this could easily be labeled with the next animation shift, I think it fits more into the computer graphics category, because next, if you love video games, this next episode is for you. In the console, Richard gives Gumball a cheap knockoff game console called the Game Child for his birthday, that Richard ended up finding in the Awesome Store. But when Gumball turns it on, it sucks the entire town into a video game. And so, in a pixel art animation, Gumball, with Darwin and Anais, battles a flower monster, which actually turns out to be Leslie, transformed by fertilizer from the Awesome Store. They knock him out and move on. They loot the Robinsons' house, grabbing a VHS player and cash, all while making fun of the fact on how they can't do anything because they're NPCs. But that teardrop from Mr. Robinson's tears say otherwise. They then encounter Penny, who is possessed by a cell phone. Gumball avoids a fight with Penny, but accidentally knocks her out with the VHS player, and gives the phone to Gumball for his quest. Then Gumball gets stuck on a pigeon side quest for Allison, earning the No Life trophy. They grind enemies to level up while heading to the Awesome Store, eventually getting dragged into a final boss fight against the Game Child itself. And with the help of characters like Banana Joe, Nicole, and Richard, they defeat the final boss. Just when it seems over, Gumball, dissatisfied with only 89% completion, starts a new game, sending them back to square one.
What do you mean 89%? Do you want to start a new game?
With the pixel art animation, we see the entire town of Elmore into a fully playable RPG world, with completable side quests, boss fights, and even a bunch of Elmore characters joining the final battle. And in other episodes like The Words, we get a whole fight that's a clear reference to Street Fighter, with a VS screen and ego bars instead of health bars. And while it's a crazy episode all taking place in a video game, the next episodes take it even further, with an entire episode set in a fully puppet-themed world. In the episode The Puppets, Gumball and Darwin are cleaning out old toys for a garage sale when they stumble upon some old friends, Frank, Howdy, and Grady. While Gumball's ready to toss them, Darwin gets a little too attached, like weirdly attached. He starts talking through them, making promises and refusing to take them off. Though it turns out this wasn't really Darwin, and the puppets were using him like some kind of vessel and pulled him into a creepy puppet world. So Gumball puts on the last puppet, Grady, and heads in to save him. But in a wild plot twist, Grady betrays Gumball and traps him too. This is until Darwin finds a loose string and pulls it, giving them a chance to escape, topping it off with a dramatic explosion, of course. To make such an episode, we had Blank Industries, who are best known for Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, with the creators Rebecca Solon and Joseph Pelling helping write the episode. Not only did we get a full episode, we also got a mini-series I just found out about called Waiting for Gumball. Imagine Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, just way less dark. Having both Gumball and Darwin as puppets, while also following the three puppet antagonists from before, it's like a small series that gives Gumball the chance to truly imagine the world in a different view. Just another example of how Gumball uses different animation styles to its advantage. But for our next animation style, we go back to 3D, except for a whole trippy scene of Gumball's imagination. In the episode The Transformation, Penny asks Gumball to come over and help with a personal family issue, after an embarrassing moment of him accidentally losing his clothes after a failed entrance to the backyard. Now, wearing a spare Santa costume, Gumball joins the Fitzgeralds at the dinner table, where they argue about Penny and her shell. Penny's father, Patrick, wants Penny back in her shell, claiming it's embarrassing and traditional, while Penny argues it only brought her shame and she's happier without it. But they demand that Gumball settles the debate, which he stalls by telling never-ending stories, from armor-wearing kingdoms, butterfly cocoons, and seeds turning into flowers, with each story leading to another story, all while being being told in a colorful new world of 3D animation, done by Julian Glande, who you might know for his works like Tennis Ball on his half day off, or Boys Go to Jupiter. At first, it feels like a full-on acid trip with wild animation, strange characters, and no clear theme, which, to be fair, is typical Gumball. But when you look at every story, from cocoons to armor to flowers, it's about leaving your comfort zone to grow. Julian's work captures that perfectly. For the last animation style, we have to go to the new series, The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball, where the animation takes a different twist. Now, we've seen some talented people and what they can make, but we also get a look at the younger talent in Gumball. In the episode The Wrinkle, Anais starts getting wrinkles from all the stress of taking care of her ridiculous family. So to make things easier on herself, she convinces them to follow her book, a plan she made to prevent any future disasters for the next 40 years. First up is Darwin. She puts him through all sorts of dangerous situations to toughen him up, but he comes back just as smiley and adorable as ever, completely unchanged, which only makes Anais more stressed and more wrinkly. Then there's Gumball, who finally talks to a lawyer, and the lawyer just tells him to do nothing, but somehow, even doing nothing, Gumball still manages to cause absolute chaos. And yup, Anais gets more wrinkles. Last are Richard and Nicole. Anais sets them up in this peaceful animal sanctuary so they can finally relax and retire. But it goes all wrong, with the animals getting mad and Nicole and Richard fighting. So in the end, nothing goes according to plan, and Anais just ends up turning into wrinkle mush. But then Gumball, with his usual charm, tells Anais to just embrace the disaster instead of trying to fix everything. Then they go into a full-on song, with hand-drawn doodles everywhere. The animation was professional, but the hand-drawn parts look like they were done by a kid, giving it a fun, messy vibe. It helps show Anais that things don't need to be perfect, and sometimes it's okay to leap headfirst and not worry too much. And altogether, the different animation styles come together, tell a stronger story than just being there for fun. It shows off all of the different types of animation out there, from anime, puppets, and even kids' drawings, packed with a ton of references. That's why Gumball is such an insane show, and that's why it deserves a like and subscribe, don't you think?